Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I had a really great question, actually a couple of them, but left by the same gentleman on one of my videos. And I was actually talking with someone else today on the phone, and we were hashing over, like, what was it, 11 years of our friendship, and discovering some things about it that were kind of hidden. And these two things kind of intersect in an interesting way. So I thought I'd try to tie these two stories together and see if I could answer the question and give a shout out to my SW. And so let me see if I can get the questions up again. Okay, so in this video I have been talking about how so-called Christians had pushed me away from all forms of Christianity. And the gentleman asks, it makes me wonder what you were shown. The Holy Scriptures will answer your questions if you have the time to read them, or if you can find someone who knows what they say already. Okay, so I answered, simply, just your regular American Christian. As far as reading scriptures, when you mention someone who knows it already, the people who did claim to had turned me off so bitterly by their bigoted, hateful, superior, selfish ways. Why would I ask anything of them only to be insulted, rejected, and told lies about God? And then he said, I guess I don't get it. Explaining what scripture says is selfish or superior or hateful. If someone were telling you what my conf says, why would that make them anything? Okay. So then I said, well, when people's actions betray their professed claims, it's easier to believe their actions. Okay. So I don't know if that's clear now to you or not, but I'm going to use the story of my friend and I's experience of our friendship over these 11 years that we finally got to explain to each other, which we didn't even know. Okay, was a wrinkle to our friendship. So I've known a lady who is Christian. I've known her at least 11 years. Well, no, at least 10, but I'm pretty sure it's 11. And we had met in a social situation, and we had a lot of things in common to talk about, but there was not a tension, I guess you could say, but sort of a non-interaction about her Christianity as opposed to my non-Christianity at the time, because she had never directly said anything to me, and there was a part of her that really felt poorly for doing that, and I didn't know that that was what was in her mind right at that time, and we even discussed the first time we had interacted and the second time, because the second time we had words, I had thought that I had said something insulting to her and had really hurt her feelings. And I felt so badly for it. And it turned out that she remembered the exact instance I was talking about, and she counts that as the moment she began to truly pray for me, because she she always thought I was like such a sweet person or whatever, that she wanted to talk to me about her love of God, but that she literally felt like she couldn't speak. And then there was a confusion in her, I think, because I think she was saying that she wanted to speak openly, and that not to do so, she felt like she was being I don't want that she wasn't stating clearly. And anyways, Well, I never talked to her about that instance, and it never seemed to prevent our friendship. And so we never mentioned it ever again. But she said very much that there were so many instances when, perhaps we were in a social situation, our children were playing, what have you, that she would be sitting there and praying, asking God, what words could she say to me? And it turns out, really, that the kind way that she treated me was always what I remembered about my interactions with her. And that had she actually said anything, it probably would have upset me to whatever degree, and I wouldn't have been able to receive it, so to say, and that would have created an enmity between she and I, and we wouldn't have found each other on Facebook. It's that kind of thing. So while she had maybe thought that speaking that truth, would have made her obedient, I guess, can I use that word? In this situation, she was being obedient because she wasn't saying anything, but she was doing, okay? And part of that is because I had to be like so miserable, before I would become Christian. Because if I had had all my friends or had kept them all or whatever, I wouldn't have had release from all these distractions so that I could finally focus on, yeah. Right, so I hope that might answer part of your question. Um, I didn't see the good in Christians because I had been accustomed to people not being good to me and then calling themselves Christian, and it was too difficult for me to untangle one from the other. And when you talk about reading the scriptures, well, there isn't much motivation when the people whom you know that proclaim that they're Christian, treat people in such really nasty ways. And there was also a great cultural divide that I experienced. Some religious taboos, and a whole bunch of other things as far as, well, whom do you trust? And the way that I was taught to read, Holy Word and stuff like that is incredibly different. And I'm still struggling with it even now. Well, I do go to Bible classes. So I'm sort of reading, but kind of still not. And the last thing I guess I could say is that it was very much the best thing that she never talked with me about it, because it was unfortunately the people who talked with me about it. What ended up happening in my mind was basically this. They were telling me about this thing that I had no understanding of, and then they were telling me what to think about it and what to feel about it. And then basically, as far as I was concerned, threatening me if I chose not to think and feel those exact same ways as I did. Or I was given pity, or all kinds of other manners, anything that was not compassionate or empathetic or loving. All I got was judgment. So, you can share what you know is the truth, but until someone experiences it for themselves, then it kind of, they're only trusting your expression until they have their own experience. And that's actually what finally happened was when someone had talked with me, they had invited me to experience. So that was different, and that's why it finally happened. And so when I was talking with her, I sort of likened it to, because, she'd been praying for me all these years, right? That when you pass around a jar, when you're trying to open the top, and everybody at the table gives it a little bit of a nudge and no one gets it until the very last person. Well, the last person gets all the hurrah for having opened, whatever they are, pickles, alls, whatever you got. But really, it was everybody all along the way that helped to unnudge it. So yeah, there's this one person who, you know, but if it hadn't been for all those people before, I doubt it ever would have happened anyways. So, the people who contributed to what my negative thoughts and impressions were still got me there. So, it all works out in the end. And I hope that explains that. And I'm so glad we got to talk today. And SW. And I look forward to hearing more questions and understanding what your opinions and experiences are with all that. And any other questions from anybody else, I'm happy to take. And I appreciate you watching. And I do wish you all blessings of peace.